Cloudware, pogromcy prowizorek. Korporacje to sprawnie działająca machina. Wszystko jest uporządkowane, ma swoje rytuały, miejsce i schematy. Pewna powtarzalność powinna gwarantować nam poczucie bezpieczeństwa, również powiązane z naszymi danymi. W dzisiejszych czasach nadzór nad uprawnieniami i dostępami jest niezwykle ważnym i wrażliwym czynnikiem. Rotacja osób, reorganizacja i zmiana stanowisk są na porządku dziennym. Konieczne jest zastosowanie systemów, które nadążą za tymi procesami. Ale czy na pewno tak jest?
Sytuacja na rynku wygląda zupełnie inaczej. Na rynku jest wiele prowizorek, które w łatwy sposób nadają uprawnienia, lecz niekoniecznie je odbierają. Dzięki systemu IGA jesteśmy pogromcami prowizorek.
Systemy IGA, Identity Governance and Administration, to coś więcej niż zarządzanie tożsamością. Narzędzie oparte na rozwiązaniach IBM to automatyzacja procesów obsługi pracowników, tych nowych i tych, którzy rozstają się z firmą. To centralizacja zarządzania tożsamością i uprawnieniami. To podniesienie poziomu bezpieczeństwa i spójności procesu. To ciągły i kompleksowy nadzór nad uprawnieniami i dostępami użytkowników oraz redukcja nadmiarowych i zbędnych uprawnień. To zapewnienie spełnienia regulacji. System IGA umożliwia wykrywanie luk w definicjach ról oraz łączenie w grupy osób o podobnych uprawnieniach. To coś więcej niż tylko rejestr pracowników i przypisanych do nich ról. To zapewnienie, że użytkownicy mają właściwe do wykonywanych obowiązków uprawnienia.
Wyobraźmy sobie taką sytuację. Zarząd przygotowuje się do audytu bezpieczeństwa i zadaje pytanie menadżerom, jakie dostępy posiadają ich pracownicy. Menadżerowie wiedzą, jakie zadania i obowiązki posiadają ich pracownicy, natomiast nie wiedzą do końca, do czego mają uprawnienia. Natomiast jeśli wyjdziemy do strony aplikacji biznesowej, to właściciele biznesowi danych aplikacji wiedzą, kto ma jakie uprawnienia, natomiast nie wiedzą, jakie mają obowiązki pracownicy i zadania. Brakuje więc w organizacji jednego systemu, który połączyłby obie te wartości. I dzięki systemom IBM-a jesteśmy w stanie rozwiązać ten problem.
Cloudware to firma z wieloletnim doświadczeniem, która zawsze dopasowuje indywidualne rozwiązania odpowiadające na potrzeby każdego klienta. To my jesteśmy dla Ciebie, dlatego też nadzorujemy każdy etap projektu. Nasze wsparcie nie kończy się na wyborze rozwiązania, nie zostawiamy Cię w potrzebie. Zawsze możesz poprosić nas o pomoc. W końcu to my, pogromcy prowizorek.
Chronisz swoje dane, ale nie masz kontroli nad dostępem do nich. Koniec z prowizorkami.
Thank you, Jarosław, for the introduction. Hello, everybody. Hello, Cezary.
Hello.
Thank you for joining us today. So, at the Security First conference, we covered topics that are the most relevant and up-to-date in the area of cybersecurity. So, why is the topic of identity and access management so important right now?
Okay. When we are talking to our customer, we currently hear very often four major challenges related to IT security systems in general. One of them is to secure remote workers, to secure the consumers, yeah? And it definitely touch this area, yes? Our workers, our remote workers are using more and more applications, more and more systems that have access to critical data. We need to know exactly who has the access to which system and why, yes, and if he has this access, yes. The current solution, I would say, in identity and access management area are covering this topic on various levels, from ensuring strong authentication, for example, to providing adaptive access or securing sensitive access. So having in mind all that things, in my opinion, identity and access management is a very crucial subject just right now. There's one more thing, yeah. Customers nowadays very often moving to zero trust approach. Yeah. What does it mean? It means that we need to secure not only the worker, we need to secure all the tools, all the devices, all the connections. And again, identity and access management solutions supporting this approach very, very much.
So zero trust is also one of the keywords today. And coming back to identity and access management, what are the biggest challenges in this area nowadays?
Okay. First of all, I would mention provisioning and deprovisioning. So currently, maybe not all, but we still see that in many companies, those processes are manual. Why this is important to automate this? When we are hiring new people or the people are leaving, it is very important to control what they are doing, yeah, well, where they have the access, yes. So we are hiring new salesman, we need to provision him with the access to necessary technologies immediately in order to not wasting his time, yeah, and our time as well. And on the other hand, when someone leaves, we need to know that from day zero, he or she doesn't have access to our critical data. Yeah? So this is, I would say, the key challenge and a very, very common one. But there are, of course, a lot of more challenges, like password management. So multiplicity of accounts used by users of this application, which we have sometimes dozens of them. And the people are forced to change the passwords quite often, yeah, which is okay. But in the same time, they could do another things, yeah, they could do more productive things, yeah. So again, we are losing productivity here, yeah, because they are wasting time for creating new passwords, yes, and they need to remember that. What, by the way, it causes very often case where the people use the same password for multiple accounts or multiple applications, yes. I would say another challenge are privileged accounts, yeah. They are very often targeted by cyber criminals. They're trying to hijack those accounts, yeah. It's like a shared or technical accounts with higher privileges, yeah, for so administrators and stuff like this. And very often they have access to most critical data and are really exposed. And when we are reading reports, we can very often read that most of the breaches occurred because of hijacking of such a privileged account, yeah. Mobile access, yeah, another challenge, yeah, very, very popular now, yeah. We all are working remotely all the time, I would say. And we have this access to our systems for mobile phones, for iPads, iPhones, other phones and stuff. And we have access to critical data, I would say, all the time, even during our holidays, yeah. It is very, very dangerous. And we need to take care of this, definitely. Cloud systems. Companies are moving to cloud, are migrating applications. And again, typically, if we are not the startup that can run all the new business in the cloud like this, we need to plan it. We need to plan our security, adjust our security strategy to what we are going to do in the cloud. Yeah, it should be aligned. And last but not least, regarding challenges, I would say that compliance is something that we need to don't forget, yeah, because increased number of regulations, internal regulations, external, required tools to help us to be compliant, yes, to help us to send the reports to the people who are asking for them, and to secure our company, yeah, because this is our asset.
Thank you so much. So we've got a really long list of challenges, and afterwards we are going to talk about a little bit about how to address those challenges. But I would like to ask something about the trends, because they are changing, and how do companies approach identity management changing trends?
Several, I would say, types of companies just right now in terms of maturity of identity and access management solutions that they have. Again, if you are a startup, you can implement everything that is the latest, everything from the cloud, everything from the scratch, and that's fine, yes. But typically, we are cooperating with more mature companies in terms of IT security, in terms of access management and identity management, and they are adjusting a bit slower, because typically those projects are very sensitive. Those projects, those implementations touch all the company, all the people within the company, and they need to plan it, yeah. So it depends where you are, yeah. So first of all, you can do kind of assessments, kind of planning where you are, to find the gaps, to find the spaces where you can run a pilot of the latest technologies. But in general, where the typical company uses some technologies in identity management and access area, they are implementing few things just right now. So like IGA, so in identity governance and administration, in order to enhance their identity management system, to make it more intelligent, I would say. They are also implementing multi-factor authentication, which is also very important when we have many devices, many remote workers. Yes, so this is quite significant trend, I can say, and we all can see that, yeah, in our life. Also, zero trust approach, which I mentioned before. So strong user and device authentication, role-based access with least privilege access, and comprehensive password security that will assure that the threat of stealing our credentials, our identity, is very low. Yeah.
Thank you. And I want to make a little bit bigger pictures, because access and identity protection is, of course, very important, but just one of many components of security systems. So can it be implemented and integrated independently?
Yes, it can be implemented independently, and usually we are implementing this as a let's say one solution, but in the second step, it has to be integrated with everything we have in our security stack, because this system works the better, the more connections we have around. What I mean, we need to have a broader context. Yeah, we need to have better insight in our identity. So just having silos identity management solution is not enough today, especially when we are going to use AI technologies or machine learning technologies. Yeah, like for example, IBM Verify Trust solution, which is a part of identity and access management technology stack. We need to interconnect all our systems, yeah, our CM solutions, our data protection solutions, in order to integrate not only the people behind this, but also processes, and simply to create the better environment for our security department to work more efficiently. Yeah.
So we should see this as a whole solution, and everything should be connected. But what are the main weaknesses of identity control solutions used today?
I think they are connected to challenges we were discussing before. For example, lack or weak processes of continuous verification of accounts and access. Yeah, so we need to constantly know if somebody is still working or change the job or change duty within our company. Yeah, because this is also the case, separation of duties. Yeah, financial officer doesn't need access to sales tools and applications. Yes, and we need to assure that constantly verifying that everybody has an access that deserve and that need. Yeah, so this is the one of weaknesses. Yeah, very often we don't have it in current solutions. Manual provisioning and deprovisioning, yeah, which I also mentioned before. Yeah, this is before IBM solutions were introduced to the market. Everything was manual, yeah, even on the paper, yeah, and it still exists, unfortunately, yeah, and there is a lot of companies that still have such a kind of manual processes, yeah. So they need to understand this is very, very important, because this process is highly exposed, yes, to human error. Yes, simply someone can forget something and we are done. Yes, so modern solutions in identity and access management area are handling that very well. Also, privilege account management, we also discussed. Yeah, this is also weaknesses. Very often companies, even if they have kind of IDM solution, they are very often trying to adjust the solution that they have to secure also these privileged users, like administrators, for example. Yes, and typically it doesn't work like this. Yeah, because they are dedicated systems to take care of administrators because they have access to everything. Yeah, so it cannot be typical application because it is not secure anymore. Yeah, they have to have dedicated mechanisms like password faults, like session recording, and a whole bunch of technologies that privileged access management solution needs to have. Yes. Also, weak or lack of multi-factor authentication. Yes, this is something that is making a lot of pain for security administrators nowadays, because most of the most of the service calls to our service desk, yes, is connected to passwords. Yes, someone forgets, someone cannot change, and that's all. That's the thing that that the latest solutions are providing, and the current ones very often don't have this. Yes.
So let's talk a little bit about positive aspects, because we talked about weaknesses. Could we assume that moving our security and identity management tools to the cloud would provide better and more effective security and control? Is it a good solution?
Again, it depends where we are with our cloud journey, with our cloud strategy. Very often what we can see is that companies are simply trying to forklift the application to the cloud, just take it from the data center and put it in the cloud, very often forgetting about security. And it has to be aligned, yes, definitely. We need to know that cloud solutions in general are exposed to data breaches even more than in our server room, because it is somewhere, it is typically shared, yes. And even according to the latest IBM report, cost of data breach report from 2022, 45% of data breaches occurred in cloud, So we need to be sure what we are doing. And yes, there is a positive thing here, because technology providers that are building identity management solutions definitely are investing more in development of cloud versions, or sometimes it is just cloud version and there is no on-premise version, yes. And having this in mind, we can say that we can have more fancy stuff for security to do efficient job when we are using cloud-based solutions. But I will repeat that we need to very align this. If we want just to pick our application and put it to cloud, we can forget about this. It has to be planned. It has to be part of our cloud strategy, our security strategy.
So alignment is another keyword today. And what level of reliability or resistance to attack of access and identity control mechanisms can be achieved in practice? Because one thing is our wishful thinking and the other thing is reality. So what's the reality?
Mm-hmm. It's, as I mentioned at the beginning, it's all about the people. The people are most fragile asset of our company and most exposed to the external environment, to all the hijackers and cyber criminals. And we have to, by implementing identity management solution, we are ensuring that our users have the access only to what they need. Yes. Thanks to identity control mechanism, we are achieving the strong authentication, preventing identity theft. Yes. We are sure that no one can steal this identity and to log into our core applications. So this resistance is I would say, quite good if everything, of course, is implemented correctly. Also, this protection of privilege access is very crucial here and very important in terms of our reliability. Admins, as always, are just admins, and if admin identity is lost, we can be lost as well, yes, as a company. And this adaptive access, yes, so whenever something changes, yeah, for example, our salesman is going somewhere outside the city and is connecting from hotel or whatever, we need to know that, and our systems needs to know that's still here and no other else, yeah. So kind of adaptive access and also sensitive access, yeah, for our, for example, HR department, data. Our system need to be sure that those data are sensitive and just those people have access to those data, and it is controlled, secured, and sometimes even recorded. So answering to your question, the level of reliability we can achieve is really high, but we need to take care of all those aspects, yes. And then as a whole, it's really, really strong foundation for having really, really secure company.
So this was rather optimistic, I would like to say. And talking more about solutions, you mentioned before some IBM solutions, and how can IBM's latest solution leverage and boost our existing security systems?
Okay. We can mention here, for example, IBM Cloud Pak for Security, which is a bunch of solutions. But when we are talking about clouds, about hybrid clouds, private clouds, it is really aligned with this. So IBM is providing us here with kind of private security cloud with the components that we can choose, either in identity area, verification area, CM area. It depends on what we need. But assuming that we have some technologies, as you said, that we have our existing systems, it gives us very great layer for integration. Yeah, we can, thanks to this Cloud Pak for Security, we can very easily integrate again people, the processes, yes, and the tools they are using, because people in security departments, in different security departments, are losing very often a lot of time for aligning what they are working on. Yeah, the identity guys are there, data security analysts are there, yes, and they don't talk too much to each other day by day, but thanks to this integration layer, they can use the data they need without asking, of course, if they have access, but it is obvious. So IBM Cloud Pak for Security give us few technologies that allow us to use what we have. Yeah, I could mention, for example, XDR. Yeah, we have terminology of SOC triad. Yeah, where we have NDR, we have EDR, we have also CM. So we have a bunch of technologies that are taking care of our company, but all of them are typically separated. And we have XDR, which is included, so cross detection and response. And we have QRadar XDR included in Cloud Pak for Security, which allowed us to use our technologies from other vendors. Yeah, either it is Cisco or Palo Alto or Splunk or whatever. I would say that is maybe even more than dozens, yeah, hundreds of different application just right now, which are in kind of open consortium that everything can be integrated. And this XDR give us great view, great one view console to our technologies. And we can simply use it even more than before, yes.
And going a little bit deeper in IBM solutions, what kind of value IBM Cloud Pak for Security brings to the table? What are the most interesting solutions available on this platform? What do you think?
Mm-hmm. Okay. First of all, I didn't mention that Cloud Pak for Security is based on Red Hat OpenShift platform, which is very common nowadays in the companies that are migrating to cloud, which give us also, again, a lot of options to choose whether we can deploy our security solutions in our private cloud or maybe in public cloud. Yeah, we can choose from one console where it has to be and why, yeah, because not everything needs to be in the cloud from day zero, especially when we have a bunch of solutions in our data center, but it's another parts of the story. So Cloud Pak for Security brings us several things, covering few areas like data protection, yes, like this identity management, and also threat management. Yeah, so we have a tool that is integrating our security analysts, our investigators, our data operators, data security operators, and is building one virtual security team that acts even faster than they are simply separated. Yeah, in this package, I would say, or suite, is a lot of great technologies that we can choose from, but coming into identity and access solutions, which we are discussing today, I think there is everything that we need very easily to implement, like IBM Security Verify Trust, Verify Access, when someone needs to plan, for example, a hybrid cloud. Some core applications we need to keep on our side. Some of front-end applications we want to have in the cloud. An application called Verify Access. I mean, IBM Security Verify Access is very great choice then to implement a bunch of solutions also for privilege access management, privilege fault management, privilege manager. I would say there is a couple more very interesting ones, and also one that is quite recent and quite nice is IBM Verify Trust. Yes, it really uses nice AI and machine learning techniques in order to support our identity management tools. Yes, so it requires a lot of integration to other systems, but it can monitor millions of sessions at one time in order to discover how our people are working, what they are doing, what is their typical behavior and what is not their typical behavior, just to be sure that everyone does their job securely, yeah, and just to be sure that this is still our employee and not hijacker.
So there are solutions for this long list of challenges. And I think we have to finish right now our very interesting discussion. So thank you very much, Cezary, for your in-depth analysis of the topic of identity and access management. Thank you so much.
Thank you very much. It was a pleasure to be here. Thank you.
Thank you and goodbye.